guys out there? How's it going? I can see that people are starting to show up. Let me just hook this up on my laptop so I can see you guys' questions easier. Welcome to another Sunday Live. Very, very happy to have you guys joining me. I'm not going to have a guest this week. I just wanted to make sure that we've got a setup which is really working. I've upgraded my internet, so hopefully you guys can see me and hear me better. Brandon says, "What's up, man? What's up?" And Matt Delahunt, "What is up?" Thanks for joining me. And Drum Case Music, how you doing? Tom Quayle says, "Hey, dude, thanks for the great backing tracks." Oh, I appreciate it, man. How great to have you here. I hope to see you at NAMM. I'm hoping that you will be there. I'm sure that you guys know Tom Quayle, an absolute legend, and you know, I'm a fan of your playing, man. So thanks for stopping by. Yeah, so today I wanted to talk a little bit about sequences, because that is something that I find like super helpful for like opening up you know, my playing, or you know, it's just super helpful for both opening up your playing for improvising, but also like it's great for the ear and it's great for the fingers. So it's a total win-win-win situation. Putting some sequences into your practice kind of routine. I've done it for ages. I've always used sequences for my warm-ups as well. Hey, how's it going? From Chile. Love it. Chile is in the house. I love it. Yeah, so basically, I want to show you guys my 5 favorite sequences that I use a lot, both in a kind of, you know, creative playing context, but also as warm-ups and just as general exercises that you know, keep things flowing nicely. I'm gonna give you my 5 favorite ones. I've made a tab for this, which I'm gonna put up just after we're finished being live. I'm gonna put that tab on my Patreon page, so you can go there and grab it if you want to have the tab, you know, so that you can see specifically on a page what I am doing. So let me just do a couple of shout outs here. Tobias from Austria, hello, how you doing? Colombia here, Giuseppe, Italy here, Theo Mazzarelli. Very cool to have you guys in the house. And the Basement Gourmet, that's a cool name. Hello from Ohio. Well, hello from California. I'm here in LA, and it's great to have you here. So like I was saying, I want to talk about sequences, because that is something that I find super useful, and I hope that you guys will find it useful as well. I want to teach you like 5 different ones. I might just have a little play, and I'll try and just, you know, play around with some of the sequences. I'm going to do this in G Dorian, which is, you know, like Dorian mode is like one of my favorite modes, so I find it very useful in a lot of different contexts. So I'm gonna do all the examples in G Dorian. Might as well. You know, there's quite a few actually G Dorian jam tracks that I've put out that you can then, you know, you can take these lessons or these sequences and try them out on those jam tracks. So I highly recommend that. But for now, I'm just gonna do it with a loop pedal. I'm gonna set up some kind of loop. Let's go something like. So Hello from England as well. We got England in the house. I love it. Scar Audio Visual says, thanks for the test tracks. I use them every day. I appreciate it. And rest assured there are loads more coming. I'm releasing at the moment, basically I've started this year, I've started releasing tracks Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then going live here every Sunday. It's been really nice so far. I've really, enjoyed interacting more frequently with you guys, and I really appreciate, the support that you guys are giving me as well. So that being said, you can expect that to continue for now, and it looks like the internet situation is a bit better as well. So okay, I want to show you my first of the 5 sequences. I tried to put quite a few of them in there with varying degrees of success. It's like always when you're trying to put something specific in a solo, it's like obviously that's an extra layer of challenge. But a fun one. So let's do the first one. So the first sequence is one that you guys have probably encountered in some way or another. It's like the one that goes up a scale 4 notes, and then goes back to the next note of the scale, goes up 4 notes, then to the next note of the scale, goes up 4 notes. So it's like, so as I said, we're going to do this on G Dorian. So, and like I also said, if you want to come back to this and look at it with a tab, you can get the tab. After we're done being live here, you can get the tab from my Patreon page, which is linked in the description below. So you can always come back and do it with the tab. Anyways, let's try it out. So I'm going to do this with my sort of preferred legato approach. You can obviously play this just just picking every note like if that show kind of thing. For me, I like to use legato, not necessarily, not necessarily every note, but I like to mix it up so that the phrases have more, contour, basically, much like jazz musicians would do. I think it probably comes from playing a lot of Charlie Parker's kind of stuff, where the phrases are, even though it's 8th notes a lot of the time, it's not, it's like, there's a rhythmic contour to it in terms of the dynamics and the accents. So that's kind of, I think, the underlying thought behind my approach to legato and stuff like that. So what I'm saying is, you don't have to do it the way that I'm doing it, and in the tab it'll just be the basic way. I won't have indicated a certain way to play it in terms of what pull-offs and hammer-ons that you should be using. I've just put it straight so that you can make your own choices for that, but I will show you how I do it, obviously. So let's give it a shot. So this is how it goes. This is our first one, and it goes, I'm just gonna pick all of them for now. So I'm going up 4 notes. I'm using the 3 notes per string kind of approach. So I got the first note, the G, and then go to the next note of the scale, the A. Go up 4 from the B flat, the next note. Up 4 from the C, up 4 from the D, and so forth. So you get. And then I'm going to go back down. I like to like mix it up so that basically, you know, you go up and you land on what could be considered a downbeat. So if you do it this way, that way, you're gonna end up landing on a downbeat right there. So that's kind of my way of doing it. So I'll do that again for you a little bit slower. So we go. So that is one way to play that scale. So it's basically up 4 notes on every note of the scale. So it's G Dorian, which is obviously that scale right there. So that there is a mighty fine exercise for your hand. So I highly recommend giving that a shot. You know, you can already feel it right there, and obviously what to do when you can feel your, you know, your muscles being worked out. You know, stretching is something that I do loads. So I highly recommend putting some of that stuff in there. So that was our first one, which is pretty good fun. Let's try it out. Obviously what you can do is add it to the pentatonic scale as well. I mean, it's just as fun on the pentatonic. So if you're going up 4 on the pentatonic, that is mighty fun as well. And also if you go, you know, across the strings rather than just up and down, like this, if you go across the strings, that is also pretty cool. So like I like it on the D string and G strings, and also the 2 upper strings. I mean, I like it all over the place, but those are like some of my favorites. So if you take the, you know, the 5 pentatonic boxes, and you go up 4 in that one, up 4 on this one, it's that works super cool on the D string and the G string. It also works really well on the B string and the E string. So let's try it on the D string. and then on the B string and E string as well. So that's pretty good fun. Obviously, you know, as always, you can pick it, or you can you know, pull it off. Like that. This guitar is actually needing a setup. It's pretty hard work doing this. It is not smooth. I've been killing it a bit recently in the studio, just, you know, and killing it not as in playing well, but as in just hammering this guitar to get some good stuff recorded. So it's needing a little TLC at the moment. But anyways, yeah, so there you have it. That's our sequence number 1. I'll just jam around a little bit on the pentatonic as well, so you can see how it works on. So that was a bit of fun. So that was our sequence number 1. I hope you guys will have some fun with that one. Nonsense says, I like it all over the place. Wow. Me too. Okay, so that was sequence number 1. Let's go for sequence number 2. So now we're going to go into more like basically what you would call, you know, going from one step of the scale to the other. So in this one we're going to skip from the first note up to the third note, then from the second to the fourth, then from the third to the fifth. So we're basically going to play the scale in thirds, and that sounds like this. Again, I'm going to do it my way. You can obviously pick this. You can do it with you know, full-on legato. You can find your own level of legato that you enjoy, and You know, this is just my way of doing it. And again, you know, you can grab the tab after this lesson. It'll be linked in the description for my Patreon page. So here we go. We got first there, next one, next one. So hopefully you guys are starting to see the pattern here. Okay, so the word I was looking for just before, which just came to my mind, is intervals. So what we're doing here is, you know, we're playing around with the interval of a third. We're basically playing the scale in thirds. So here we go. This is how it sounds. Again, I'm going to find a way to do it which makes it land on a downbeat, because I like to do it like that so that it lands on a downbeat, and then you can move on to the next. You know, if you're having a warm-up, for example, then you can move on to the next key, and then the next, and the next, and the next, and the next, until you get nice and warm. So here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna pick that for you guys as well. So nice and slow. Okay, so that was our second sequence, and like I said, thirds. This is basically playing the scale using the interval of a third. So super handy for that. And you know, as always, try this like on different scales, in different keys, everything. You know, make sure that you're obviously trying out in as many different ways as possible, because that is really the way that it's going to open up new territory for your playing and like your improvising, and like, you know, really make your fingers go in places that they haven't done before. And you know, also, like I say, super good for your ear. It's basically ear training, you know, if you take your time with it and you know, actually acknowledge what it is you're playing, because you start to hear the intervals more clearly once you start doing more sequences. You know, you start to hear that there's a minor third, there's a minor third. Well, this one's actually a major third, and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you're really putting it in there, you know, what the intervals are, and like, for me, like, you know, having like great relative pitch, I think is something that I can, you know, highly recommend. Like, relative pitch meaning that, you know, anybody can play your note, and then, you know, you can tell that, you know, that's a B natural, just because of having the G, and you can hear that that note is, you know, in relation to the G, it is a major third, so therefore, you know, it's a B. So, you know, working on your relative pitch like that is a super handy thing, you know, because it means that you can pick up melodies and, you know, chord progressions, and, you know, so that you can sit in on kind of any jam kind of situation and just, you know, hear, oh, the context is this, so I can play this scale and that scale. So that is the way that that works. I'm just having a comment here. I have your book from 2012, Best Teacher, thanks from Costa Rica. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I actually made a book. It was like my first like proper published worldwide book in many languages, which came to me through doing like guitar or doing work for a guitar magazine, and some of the people there put me in touch with this major publisher called Paragon, and they commissioned like a book called Rock Guitar, so I just thought at the time I was like, well, I can't see why not. You know, it sounded like fun, and I learned a bunch from it. And it's funny to see, you know, it's really great to see that, you know, people around the world, you know, got around to buying that book, and hopefully are enjoying it. So yeah, I really appreciate that comment. Thank you. I should share it with you guys. I mean, I don't have any financial, you know, like incentive to really you know to sell this book to people. I mean, I basically got paid for making it and just gave away the rights like that. But I think that it turned out being a really good product, and you know, I do recommend it to anyone who wants to learn like you know, rock kind of guitar. It's basically, it focuses on the styles of many of the greatest, like, well, famous rock guitar players. It was a whole lot of fun to make. So anyways, I'm gonna stop babbling about that. Let's move on. So the third sequence I want to give you guys is a little bit more quirky, but it's one that I really enjoy. Like what I just played there is sixths. Those are sixths, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is a very common kind of interval. I'm not going to do that one because that's like I say, it's pretty. That's quite a common interval, and you will hear that in lots of blues and that sort of stuff, which is cool. But I like this kind of stuff. You know, really, you know, stuff that makes your ears go, say what? So these here are not sixths, but they are sevenths. So basically, you know, you construct the interval of the seventh by, you know, going 7 steps on the scale. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. So now you have a seventh here. And if you go up 7 from this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you get this. Quite a, you know, distinct kind of sound to them, but like I say, I absolutely love that kind of vibe. So I want to share that one with you. So this is our third one, and again, you know, that you'll be able to find a tab for this in the description once we're no longer live. Let me show you that one. This is potentially the best one for warming up your hands. It really gets you, you know, stretching. Again, we're doing this on G Dorian, so it's gonna be. That's that. So playing a bit faster. And a bit slower. So there you have your sevenths. Ed Dana just got here. What is this exercise? So if you just got here, like I said, the tab is going to be in the description after we're done with the lesson, after we're not live anymore. It's going to be on my Patreon page. And that exercise there was sevenths. So seventh, the interval of a seventh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On G Dorian, let's have a little play with it. Okay, so there at the end, I actually switched to the fourth one that I want to share with you guys, which is basically playing the scale in fourths. And yeah, thanks so much for all your comments. I really appreciate it. Dorian is my favorite mode of major at the moment, at least, says Andrew. Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Like I said earlier, yeah, it's one of my favorite modes as well. It's maybe even my favorite mode. Really enjoy it. So it's got, like, you know, that kind of funky vibe to it. So yeah, let's do the fourth one. 4 out of the 5. For this one, it's gonna be fourths. So basically 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, the interval of a fourth. So this is like, you know, an exercise where you would play the scale in using the interval of a fourth. So you're playing up a fourth, and you're going to the next note of the scale, and then up a fourth, next note, up a fourth, which in this case is a sharp 4. So obviously it gets modified so that it still stays within the 8 notes of the G Dorian. And again, tab will be in the description once we're no longer live. Here we go. I'm going to play it for you slowly. This is how it goes. We speed that up a little bit. As you'll see there, the way that I like to finger it, sometimes I do the bar, but a lot of the time I'll play the notes separately, you know, using a finger for each note. Which I find super helpful because it makes it a little easier to separate each note so that you get in rather than do you know what I'm saying? Because if you got both of the notes ringing at the same time, you know, it's a different vibe. So you can do it and roll it like that and still just get the notes separately. But it gets easier if you actually bother, you know, fingering each note with a different finger. So have a think about that once you figure out, you know, the way that you like to finger this. Before I do that, have a drink. Guitar Hack 123 says thanks for doing this stuff. I appreciate it. I just thought, you know, why not? Let's share the love. Oh, Mike Shaw today. Hey, Quist. Mike Shaw, thanks for tuning in. Always great to have you here as well. Nonsense says 7 notes, right? Yes, 7 notes. There are 7 notes in the scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then obviously once you get to the octave there, you've got, you know, you're basically starting all over again. So you only have 7 different notes of this scale, and you know all the major scale modes, including the major scale. So there we go. Play it for you one more time. So there you have your G Dorian played in fourths. So that one is super cool as well. I really enjoy that one. It's got a kind of jazzy flavor to it. I think of people like McCoy Tyner, who is some of you guys will probably know McCoy Tyner as a great jazz piano player, played very famously with John Coltrane, and he used fourths a lot, more like stacks of fourths, which we'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, fourths is what this is. Let me have a little play with it. Okay, so what was happening there was I was actually applying it now, like we did earlier, applying it now to the pentatonic scale instead of the Dorian mode. So I was just putting it on the pentatonic scale. So I can show you that. Let me do it for you a little bit slower. Again, you can either roll, third finger, rolling from the third fret of the G string to the third fret of the G on the third fret on the E string to the third fret of the A string. So, you can either roll, or you can play the notes separately. Your choice. This is just G minor pentatonic. Back again. But now here's the trick. I wasn't just using the G minor pentatonic when I was doing that. What happened here is I was actually using D minor pentatonic. But landing on G's, because we're in G Dorian. But the thing is, you've got, because this is built on the major scale, and every major scale has 3 minor pentatonic shapes that you can fit on it. Well, obviously I can do that in this context as well, because this is built on that same scale structure. So in G Dorian, I can use 3 different minor pentatonics. So I don't just have the G minor pentatonic available. I have also got the D minor pentatonic. obviously I'm not just talking about, you know, for playing the scale in fourths. I'm talking about, you know, you can do whatever you want with those minor pentatonic scales. So you've got the D minor pentatonic and the G minor pentatonic, and you also have the A minor pentatonic. Obviously, you know, it takes a bit of jamming around to see, you know, what works on this. So. Taking the same thing, repeating it in those three. Over those three same scales. Okay, so there we go. Just playing around with those three shapes. So that was a little, you know, just a little side story to that. You know, basically saying you can use these things, all these sequences on the pentatonic as well, if you like, and obviously you can use them on three different pentatonics to make it fit, you know, with that very same melodic structure, which is G Dorian that we were jamming on just now. So yeah, that's it. I hope that you guys will find those ones useful. Let's do the last one. So another sequence that I really love is basically the same kind of thing in fourths, This is where it gets really McCoy Tyner-ish. For this one, you're basically adding another fourth. You're not just having one fourth, you're going up another step, up another fourth there. So you go, let's go 1, 2, 3 notes. And again, you know, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the interval of a fourth, and then it's another interval of a fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got basically 2 jumps, both the length of a fourth. I'm getting some low battery vibes going there. So yeah, I'm not gonna go on much longer. But yeah, so I want to show you that one again. You know, you'll be able to find a tab for this on my Patreon page, which is linked in the description. As soon as we're done with the being live here, you guys can go and grab the tab. And, I really appreciate all you guys commenting and, you know, being part of this. I really appreciate it. Brian says, please tour with your own band. We'll be there front and center. I really appreciate that. I will be doing that. I've got, you know, quite a few bits of news that I haven't shared with regards to how this year is going to look. And I look forward to sharing those news as we go. But yeah, here we go. I'm going to show you the last one. It's definitely a little more advanced and quite jazzy. So we got those blocks of fourths. Here's the first one. So second one. I'm going to play them with a finger. Actually, you know what? I'm going to roll like this. I'm going to do it that way for you guys. I'm going to roll down. So we go 1, 2, 3, and then next one. Next one, I'm going to play with my fingers. You know, a finger on each note. And I'm going to roll. Next one. So there we have it. Quite a jazzy kind of sound. Then obviously you can go back down. So there you have it. So that is the kind of vibe. Obviously, you were seeing there that I was moving them across the guitar again. You know, that for me is really the fun way to do this. So yeah, I'll show it to you just one more time like this. I'm using economy picking, so I'm actually going up, down, down, 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 up, down. Yeah, basically the whole time. So up, down, down is the way that I do it. Again, you know, you can do this however you like. And yeah, for this one gets real fun when you start moving it across the strings like I was just doing there. So I'll just show you how to do that in a sort of musical context. So here I'm doing the same stuff that I was doing before, which is adding it to, you know, rather than doing it to G Dorian, I was actually doing it to, I was using G minor pentatonic. And then the next level, like I was doing before, is doing it not just to the G minor pentatonic, but I chose the D minor pentatonic. But obviously maintaining the fact that we're in G minor. So that's the kind of vibe. Yeah, that's it. I hope that you guys will have loads of fun with these. I know that I definitely have a lot of fun with them. You know, just even if, you know, it's just that occasional thing. You're in the middle of a bluesy kind of, and then, you know, you can sort of travel down the neck and suddenly end up in a, you know, an entirely different place, and the way you get there, you know, you know, I really like that kind of sound. So there you go. You know, again, if you want to tab, I'll be putting it up on my Patreon after that we're no longer live, and I am gonna say that that's it, guys. Really appreciate you guys, you know, checking in with me here, and appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Andrew says it sounds kind of like a dirty version of jazz. Well, that's my idea of fun. You've basically summarized my idea of fun. A dirty version of jazz. I love that. Very cool. Thank you everybody for for all your comments and for checking in. I will be here next Sunday. Ooh. Okay, so there was a little bit of a disconnection there. I was getting a call on my phone, which was naughty. Anyways, guys, thank you so much. I'll see you next Sunday at 12 o'clock. And I'm getting a question there saying, Quist, will you be leaving this video up? I probably will, yes, because like I said, you know, I'll put the tab in the description. So you know, if you guys want to actually, you know, do some work and get these 5 sequences into your fingers, you can do that with the tab that I'm going to make available. So yes, I will leave this video up. I don't always leave the live videos up. You got to kind of be there to you know, to get whatever's happening. And also, having said that, you know, I'm going to be doing some live videos with my guests as well. I'm going to have some guests on here very soon. I just wanted to do, you know, a few of them, make sure that I've got a setup that is working well. And I think we're getting to a point now where Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and obviously live again on Sunday. Take care, guys. Lots of love to all of you. Bye.